Mikestedt here. I have another tutorial for you, but this time it is behind my desk comfortably at home. As many of you may know, I'm a video game enthusiast, and I try to stay away from the word nerd because that's become like a big culture thing, which is whatever. But at first, I am an audio engineer, and within my hobby, I find things that intrigue me, and I would like to break them down and learn them myself for, eventually becoming a sound designer. Because on side, I work on, short films and, video games. The last thing I did was Shards Online, which everyone can check out on my portfolio, which will be down in the link, if you could please check that out. But, getting on track. What I wanted to show you guys today was a sound design thing I wanted to replicate for my own being. And that was when I recently just 100%ed the Batman Arkham Knight video game. Yes, 100%. I had to put that in there. I just really liked what the sound designer did for the Scarecrow voice, and as well as Troy Baker's character, the Arkham Knight, which I'm not going to spoil it for anyone if you haven't played it. But anyways, I already knew ahead of time that was kind of the effects on it was like doublers, some pitch modulation, and maybe some like tune, like waves tune type of thing. But I didn't know for sure until I really sat down. And it took me a while to get this video started because I didn't know how to start recording this in the first place. But after reading other people's tutorials and articles and videos, a couple days, I finally got confident enough to try it. And here I am. And I think it's coming along pretty good. So be ready for more. I actually have some videos in mind that I want to do the next couple days for post-production. So follow my channel and there'll be more. So moving along. Right here I have a sample. I took the ending scenes, well, not ending scenes, every scene you die, the Arkham Knight talks to you, as long as it's within the storyline. And I picked this one word, or not one word, but one sentence that really kind of like, it doesn't stick out, it's just, I like the way the effect worked on his voice, and I can't hit all the high notes Troy Baker can, or I can only hit certain things. I'm not a voice actor first, I'm a sound designer, mixer, engineer first. So my goal with this was just getting the effect right, not the vocal. So what I did was I ripped it, and this is the line I went with.
Look at me while you die, Batman. Look at me.
So the first thing I did was actually get the pitch and the timing and the rhythm of his voice. I didn't try to be like, I want to sound like Troy Baker. It's like, no, I want to follow the same rhythm and somewhat tone of him and record it, because I feel the effect would only work if I did the exact rhythms and pitches he did. So it was close. I wasn't exactly close, but this is what I got. Let me turn off the compressor. I'm gonna turn off the pitch shift, but I'm gonna leave the compressor on. So this is what it sounds like with just my voice.
Look at me while you die, Batman. Look at me.
So already you can tell I am not a voice actor. But it's a start, and I'm putting myself out there, so tough. So the first thing I did was I started pitch. So this is what I did. I used pitch 2. I'm in Pro Tools 12 on Yosemite, and all I did is I went down. The normal note I had was a C, but I went down to B, C, D, E. So I don't know. I really was just playing around with notes. It starts you off right here in a C. And I just this is the note I went with. So sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. So okay. So it's a B sharp, B flat, one of those. I don't remember too much on my piano theory. But anyways, I started with that, and adding the pitch shift, this is what it sounded like when I did it.
Look at me while you die, Batman. Look at me.
So why I did that was because my voice isn't as beefy or low as Troy Baker is. At least I don't think it is. So I wanted to beef it up a bit, and that's the only thing I did. I didn't do any EQing, no frequency modulation, literally just a pitch. So I changed my tone of my voice. Then I did 2 sends. I started off with the modulator, so it was the doubler. The doubler, I used the doubler 4 because I wanted doubles of the highs and doubles of the lows, but really what I got was of the mids and some lows. I couldn't get too much of the highs, which I double, which I'll show you later. It's with this pitch right here. So this is what happened when I did a basic doubler with a basic doubler 4, And what it's going to do is going to delay the same signal 4 times at different pitches and at different, which is left and right. So it's going to delay them at different times at different gains and feedbacks, and which I have no feedback, but this is what it sounds like with that. And this is the second part, how I started.
Look at me while you die, Batman. Look at me.
And already I felt I was pretty close, but I was like, there's like this synthetic, robotic part of the voice that I was missing. And that's when I started messing around. But before we get to the synthetic part, I wanted to beef it up more with more pitch and more depth. So right here, I think I did the same thing. This is just lows. So this is just beefing it up even more, because I feel like the Arkham Knight has a presence where we don't know who he is, and we want it to be somewhat scary, but enforceful, or like show enforcement. So this is with the pitch on the normal voice, the compressor, the doubler 4, and another pitch on top of that. So it adds an extra hint of bassiness.
Look at me while you die, Batman. Look at me.
So I was pretty satisfied here, and like I've heard some people's online, like some people have tried to recreate it with their voice acting reel, and just because I was trying to research on if anyone pulled this apart and put it online, and I could be wrong. The sound designer, I would love for the sound designer to come up to me and tell me you're wrong. So please show me. I would love to know what you did, because it's been killing me, and that's why I'm on to the video, to spread awareness. But that was the first attempt I had, and I was like, you know what? I'm still missing the synthetic part, which comes to our next part. But right now, before we get to that, I want to play one more time the original.
Look at me while you die, Batman. Look at me.
And after that, I'm going to add mine in there without the synthetic, just the double.
Look at me while you die, Batman. Look at me.
It's not amazing, but I feel it's close. But before I show you the synthetic version, what I ended up doing was adding a fuzz wall and using like a factory default, and I just turned down the mix. I tried messing with a lot of this stuff, but I ended up just getting farther and farther away. And one thing I tell people when mixing is, if it starts to sound like poop or you're falling away from what you started from, go back to where you started from and leave it, or find something better. So it's all about just tinkering. That's how musicians find their sound, is they sit there for days and mess with it. Sometimes defaults work, and that's what I went with. The next part was, obviously I'm doing all aux sends, by the way. The next part is I'm using Native Instruments Reactor, the mouth, and it's something I never thought I would use because I didn't understand how to use it at first, but I messed with it. So I'm using the MC monotone. I'm not going to mess with this too much because I like where it's at. You really just need to play with these faders in here in the mixer. Like, I use more voice and input, and click on these buttons because you can choose the parameters and type of effect you want on per mix. So the voice, I think I have Demon. So again, the whole thing, I was trying to get the lows to really feel doubled and real thick. That's what I was looking for. So this is what helped me get the kind of synthesizer. The effect is real low. Like, I have it super low, and it's like on crunchy. So it kind of adds like a little distortion. So with the fuzz wall and the mouth like synth vocal effect, gives it a different vibe. And this is what the somewhat final version I had.
Look at me while you die, Batman. Look at me.
And with that, I'll play the original again. Back to.
Look at me while you die, Batman. Look at me.
And here's my.
Look at me while you die, Batman. Look at me.
Right there, I felt I was done. Again, it's not perfect. It's what I went with, and I think is as close as I can get to it without pulling my hair out, which is already thinning out, so I should probably keep my hair. But there's another element that I was missing, and it's kind of like room tone, but it's a reverb. You're just adding a reverb. So I just use the Native Instruments, the RC24, and I just found like the small hall bright was the only thing I could find close to it. There is a little hint of reverb in the voice itself. I don't know why they did that, but it just kind of opens it up in a sound designing way, I guess you can say. So I just messed with some pre-delayed depths and kind of like the preset is what worked for me, and I just adjusted the send itself. And before I move on, before you do any of these sends, I do all of them in pre, so I can blend in my voice inside of the effects. What pre is going to do is it's going to send the effect to, it'll send the vocal to the effect, and my fader will not adjust anything that happens on the filters. It'll be the straight dry signal is being sent 100%. So my fader, when I adjust it, if I go to my mix, you can see I have my dry lower about by a couple notches under than my wet effects. So I have them all at unity. Besides reverb, I have reverb pretty low, but I have my mixes pretty hot. Besides modulator, you got to find the right tone, and you really got to mess with it. So this took me, it took me about 40 minutes of tinkering and showing people and see if they like it. But this is the final with reverb and everything. I'll play it a couple times, and then hopefully at the end of the video you guys can just give me some comments and feedbacks. Maybe I did it wrong. If you have any ideas, I would love to try them again. Like I said, I'm not trying to perfect it. I just want to see how these effects are made, because games take a long time to work on, and sound designing, especially on short films, I have a hard time with, because it takes so much time to work on so many things at once. So here's my finished Arkham Knight modulated voice. I hope you like. Please share and let me know. Thank you very much.
Look at me while you die, Batman. Look at me. Look at me while you die, Batman. Look at me. Look at me while you die, Batman. Look at me.
And for the last time, For the last time, I will play the original, and then I'll play mine.
Look at me while you die, Batman. Look at me. Look at me while you die, Batman. Look at me. Look at me while you die, Batman. Look at me. Look at me while you die, Batman. Look at me.
Alright guys, thank you. This is Mikestedt again. I'll be making more videos in the future. This is just the beginning. Again, thank you very much. I really appreciate the view, and have a good night.